252.
Okay, this is 252 Pop Fiction, where you'll find all the news and reviews in pop culture that's right to type. JB, our first story.
For the first time in its 40-plus year history, a blackout will keep HBO off the air of one of its biggest distributors. The signal for the AT&T-owned channel went dark on Satcaster Dish and its sister virtual MVPD service, Sling TV. Dish alone represents 2.5 million subscribers for HBO.
I have no idea about any of those words you just said.
Well, the one thing that I know is if all of a sudden if Comcast decided to drop HBO, all I know is they better get that back up before the next season of Game of Thrones, because I've already been waiting like almost 2 years. I know you don't watch, do you?
I do. I watched the first, I think, 4 or 5 seasons. I'm always behind on watching those episodes. You know this.
Yes.
It's good.
Yeah, never watched it.
You gotta watch.
Oh,
I don't have to watch it.
You
I
have to-
refuse.
Hey, you've seen The Sopranos, right?
No.
You gotta watch The Sopranos.
No, I'm
You
not
haven't
watching
seen The
it.
Sopranos?
No, I saw the first episode. I said, not a fan. In the wake of the controversy at NBC over Megyn Kelly's blackface comments,
That was bad.
Another one of the network stars found himself in a racial brouhaha. Today's Show meteorologist and co-host Al Roker took to social media after complaints about him dressing up as a white character for Halloween. NBC canceled Kelly's 9 a.m. show last week after she made what many viewed as offensive comments about blackface Halloween costumes. And here is what I have to say about this.
Okay.
Al Roker dressed up as Doc Brown, but he didn't put on whiteface.
No, yeah.
Which isn't a thing, by the way.
Yeah,
Whiteface isn't a thing. All right.
Well, Kabuki. They white-faced it.
Well,
but, okay, you're right. I mean, he was still Al Roker with a wig on, and he was being Doc Brown. And,
exactly.
And there's really no comparison whatsoever, even though he did kind of, I guess, apologize if anybody was offended. But
I wouldn't have done it.
I mean, come on, man. Throughout most of our, like, when we were kids, when we went to the Halloween store, Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, they were all white. So when we put on the costume, that's it. That's what the options were.
Is being a Superman costume.
Yeah.
Which is what it should be. Now here's the thing.
Megyn Kelly.
You can, her comments, while not educated.
I think it was more part where she was kind of saying, well, when I grew up, it wasn't like a thing. I was like, well where did you... Well, where you grew up, how many black people were in your neighborhood, and look, if you went in blackface, how many of them punch you in the damn mouth?
And also, there's a difference between
is
and that's the thing. If you're dressing up in blackface to be a caricature and a racist stereotype of what they did back in the day, that's wrong. I understand if you're trying to do an homage to Diana Ross and you're darkening up your skin a bit. Still not right. Yeah. It's a thin line of, I know you're not making fun of Diana or whoever you're trying to emulate, but there's still a fine line that you're walking, and you should know that.
And, I'm glad that you say that, because it rolls into our next story. Angela?
Snowboarder Shaun White got into some hot water when he revealed his Halloween costume, a simple jack ensemble inspired by Tropic Thunder that earned him an era of the Special Olympics for its offensive representation of people with intellectual disabilities. While White has since apologized and taken down the image of his costume, Tropic Thunder actor Ben Stiller has also spoken out in support of the Olympian.
As he should. Now, here's how I feel about this one.
No, all right. Wait, before you get into it, I only heard bits and pieces. What did he dress as?
Yeah.
Simple Jack.
Simple Jack.
Oh,
he went full retard.
Simple Jack.
He went full retard, and you're not supposed to go full retard.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, when you talk about going blackface, Robert Downey Jr.
he was making fun of that whole thing, and it was played brilliantly.
I laughed. I thought it was funny. I didn't personally take offense to it, and I liked the way how they made the actor, the black actor, Ellen, when he was like, huh? That's how we sound to you.
Yeah, exactly. And so that movie walked that thin line. They parodied it well, and then came off with a great movie and a great performance by Downey Jr. And the Simple Jack thing, I think it's funny. I'm not saying that making fun of people with disabilities is funny, but he was that character as portrayed in the movie, and it looked
exactly
good too.
Well?
It looked good.
Well,
You know, when I saw that, I said he's doing a spoof on movies, good movies like Radio and Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
The whole movie was a spoof. And
Exactly.
if you take it seriously, I think you're
missing the point.
You're too uptight.
Exactly.
I think that is basically the reason why these two stories are on here, because we are being hypersensitive in our current time. And yes, not to get too political, but there are things going on that does definitely need a lot of a spotlight put on it. But there's other stuff that we probably really don't need the spotlight. But
there's a thin line between right and wrong and what have you, but if you're spoofing a character that was spoofed in a movie and it's a general knock on that, that's fine. He wasn't saying that I'm this retarded kid from down the street. He was being simple Jack.
And again, we refuse. We apologize for the use of the word
intellectual
retarded
disabled kid.
several
I am
times.
sorry. I was born in the 70s.
Who's the retard?
Yeah.
This week's review: Hip Hop Evolution Season 2, back on Netflix for a second season. The first season of this documentary series debuted in December of 2016 with 4 episodes, hosted by Shad.
Who?
Shad. He's a Canadian rapper. And went on to win a Peabody Award. The show's episodes interviewed artists like Kool Herc,
Know him.
Ice Cube,
Know him.
Yeah.
Ice-T,
Know him.
and Grandmaster Flash
Yeah.
about the genre's genesis and eventual explosion. For this season, there's 4 new episode run, and you'll hear from Puff Daddy, KRS-One, 2 live crews, specifically Uncle Luke, and so much more. They talk about everything from going and performing at the Latin Quarter, like how you're going to get on, the beef between Boogie Down Production and
MC Sham.
And the whole Queensbridge, the Woo, and how they were like, when they first brought their demo in, they were like listening to it. It's like, you got 9 guys rapping, there ain't no hook, there ain't no chorus. What is this trash?
It's grimy.
It's grimy, it's dirty. The RZA was taking little things. I mean, it's a great series. If you're a hip hop head, even if you're just a mild, you're like, hey, you just watch it because this really takes place, a lot of this part of the story takes place in the late 80s and throughout the 90s. So yeah, it's more like the music that we really were listening to in junior high,
I still
high
listen to
school.
that music.
I still listen, man. In my car, I stay on Sirius XM Fly. That's my shit right there. That's how I do it.
That's a ringing endorsement. Ralphie D recommends Samurai Cop.
What?
A bitter samurai cop, and he's a samurai cop.
Yeah.
And his sidekick until to get their revenge and bravely try to go after the Yakuza. Now, it's so bad, it's good. Please watch this movie.
This movie
have some beers.
91?
It was somewhere around then, 99.
Yeah.
You can't tell when it came out. It looks like it was made in the
80s, and then they released it in the 90s.
The best part about this movie is that the guy playing the samurai cop had a long, flowing, dark hair, and then at some point he had to go to another movie. He shaved his head. He had to come back and do reshoots. He's wearing a wig. It's obvious. It's hilarious. Please watch this movie and get back at me and thank me.
Wait,
Tell him
this isn't a spoof, it's a real movie?
It's unfortunate.
Well, okay.
Yeah, no, it's real.
right.
It's real. Everybody is really acting. It's
Okay.
really acting badly.
Samurai Cop.
Yes, watch it. I'm Ralphie D, and that's news to me.
I'm Cool Water Kurt. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
We'd love to hear what you think. Leave us a comment down below and let your opinion be heard.
I'm JB, and this is 252 News and Reviews, where you hear it first.
You like that?
Actually, it's kind of
252.
Adonis, pull yourself together.